The lowest and most hated members of wider society, and certainly the prison population, appears to be those who take advantage or harm children. This is likely due to an innate need to protect our most vulnerable. Unfortunately, there are those among us who do not share this trait. For example, Terry Mcfadden. Terry and his wife used to run a small home daycare in the state of Ohio. However, in the April of 2019, problems began to arise which would lead parents and law enforcement to question their quality of care. An unidentified 4-year-old girl who had previously spent many hours in the care of the Mcfaddens would begin to show signs of abuse. After a medical examination, her parents' worst fears would be confirmed. This sparked an investigation into all adults associated with the young girl. The investigation would reveal worrying stories of misconduct committed by Terry. He would be taken in for questioning as a result.
Just before we start, just to let you know, you are not under arrest. You're free to go at any point. The door is only shut behind us for noise purposes because our squad room's right here, so a lot of people in and out all the time, okay?
All right. Your names once again?
Skurlock.
Skurlock?
Yep, and this is Brubaker. Yep.
Brubaker?
Zach Drew. You can call his first name.
Exactly. Both of you with Grandview?
Yep, we're both with Grandview. Normally we're dressed up, but yes, we're both detectives. We were working on a different, separate case today that required us to dress down, so normally we're a little bit more professional looking, so.
Unmarked. Unmarked SUV there. Huh?
Yeah. So, just so we're clear, you understand that? You're not under arrest. You're free to go at any point. You understand?
Okay.
Okay, all right. So, before we start, I just want to get some basic information on who you live there with, there 795, okay? From my understanding, your wife's name is Carol, is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
So you live with Carol?
With Carol.
Okay. And how long you guys been married?
35? Well, let me see, 82 it would be, so do the math here.
Oh, wow, yeah, okay. All right, 35 plus?
35 plus, yeah.
Okay, all right. And do you have a cell phone, sir?
I do.
What's your cell? I don't need it, just your cell phone number, that's all.
You know, I didn't bring it with me, dang it, and I don't know the cell phone number. I always have to look it up.
Do you guys have a house number?
We do, 614-299-6539. Landline there.
Okay. And it's
didn't pick up myself.
Just you and your wife that live there,
me and my
correct?
wife.
Okay.
Yes, and a cat.
I'm sorry?
And a cat.
Okay.
And our daughters are grown, as I say, in the house.
So nobody else stays there permanently, and from my understanding, your wife watches numerous children throughout the day.
Okay. We do, and I do help her with that.
Okay. Is
various duties like lunch duty, we were just taking care of there.
Okay. So. Just making lunch pretty much and providing it to the kids and whatnot.
And just just sort of wrangling the kids.
Okay. And how many typically are at the house?
Well, we currently have 4.
4 total?
4 total. There were 2 today, and there's one little girl and her little brother. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you know how old they are?
Just one.
Okay.
A little over 1. And is 3. I think she's 3.
3. She'll
be 4 later on this year.
Okay.
And then the other 2 kids we usually watch are who is 4, turning 5 in May.
Okay.
And her little brother. Who is, I think he's 3.
3? Okay.
I think he's 3 now. Yes.
Okay. No other children at all?
No other children.
No other children you guys watch? Okay. All right. So, how would you describe your day-to-day interaction with the children? I mean, is it your wife? She's the one who's interacting with the children, and are you separate, or do you help? I know you said you helped out, but I mean, in what way?
The detectives are already fully aware of Terry's relationship and the amount of one-to-one time he has with the children. However, asking him to describe these details will guide the detectives as to what approach they will take going forwards. If Terry was to lie about his interactions with the children, it would inspire the detectives to take a more direct and confrontational route. However, if he is mostly honest, the detectives will focus on rewarding these truths and removing the negative emotions that come with confessing. Although Terry does try to minimize his relationship with certain words and phrases, he is honest about the main details.
I help Well, let me see. Like I say, one big thing is getting lunches together and eating lunch. But I interact with the kids, watch them well, because after lunch there's a routine where Carol takes each one upstairs to nap.
Mm-hmm.
And so that leaves the other ones downstairs, and I have to make sure that they are behaving themselves.
Okay.
Because they all tend to get rather rambunctious, of course, especially the little one. He gets into everything. So
Okay.
I watch them all to make sure that.
Does she take naps?
She doesn't go upstairs and take naps. She lays down on the couch sometimes. We try to get her to lay down on the couch. She doesn't want to go upstairs, which is fine. She figures she's older. She's the oldest of the group now.
Okay.
And so she lays down and watches TV.
Okay. What about your interaction with? I know you said that she doesn't go there very often.
Just occasionally.
What's occasionally? Just a rough estimate.
Okay, well, sometimes her mom can't pick her up after school, so I pick her up after school, and she comes to our house for about an hour until.
And that's
her dad.
okay.
Yes. Sometimes if the school has a snow day, she'll come and stay with us,
Okay.
or there was a teacher day that she stayed with us one whole day. So again, she's we just she's one of the kids. And
does she go to preschool at all?
she goes to preschool.
Do you take her to preschool, or does your wife?
I pick her up at preschool. Her mom takes her in the morning.
What time do you pick her up?
It's about 11:30.
Every day?
No, the routine is Mondays and Wednesdays. Her mom picks her up because it's can both go. There's a Trinity preschool in Trinity Methodist. But then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I pick her up at 11:30 and bring her back for lunch.
Okay.
And they have preschool those days.
Okay. And your interaction with are always pretty good. Decent kids. You enjoy.
Good kids, yes, they do. Like I said, they're a little wired. Gets a little wired and active, and have to calm her down.
Okay.
Sometimes yell at her.
Okay.
She gets, interaction with other kids. Especially we sometimes have to discipline her.
Does she have any daily activities that she likes to do, like games she plays or anything like that?
We do a variety of things at the house. Sometimes there's toys. We have one whole room with lots of toys, and she likes to just on her own gather. Well, there's stuffed animals that she likes to play with. There's a box of she calls little things that we keep up on a top shelf because the littlest one, we don't want him getting into them. But when she says, I'm going to play with little things, we pull them down off the shelf and place them on the table. She likes, she sometimes likes to paint or color, and Carol mostly will print out pictures from the internet. And she likes to do that. She likes to, as I say, we have lots of things to play with. Big cardboard blocks that the kids, or Legos, or some big couch pillows from an old couch. They love to, make things with that. That's just in the house. And outdoors, of course, they can. We have playground, swing, and a sandbox, and slides.
What about computer games? Do you guys play? Do you guys
And
have a
they
computer?
can play computer games too. Yes.
Is it a desktop or a laptop computer?
Well, we have a desktop.
Okay.
And we can do what's it? Either ABC Mouse or Nick Jr. or those are some websites with there's some games that they.
Are they allowed to play on their own?
And well, we set them up.
Okay.
And we watch them.
What do you mean by that? You set them up?
Well, we have to look up the account. We have to actually.
Right, pull up the account.
Pull up the account and everything like that, and they'll sit down there. So yeah, they like to play computer too. Yeah.
So, do you have any idea what any type of what this is about? What any type of allegation there would be that we would be here needing to talk to you?
I'd rather you tell me.
Do you have an idea though?
I don't know.
Terry choosing against confronting his situation and instead opting to act oblivious will be a glaring red flag to the detectives present. Guilty suspects will often act naive as a way to avoid confrontation altogether.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm guessing it's complaint from the Lapivas, perhaps.
Okay. No, what the nature of the complaint would be? Do you
The
have any
nature of
idea?
the
Did
complaint.
something happen that you remember or anything like that? Do you know?
I I'd rather you told me what
The complaint
was.
Okay. The complaint is sexual in nature.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
An instant and firm denial is the only reasonable reaction if a person has been falsely accused of these crimes.
I can tell that, did you expect me to say that? Because it kind of seemed like it. This is time to get it all out there, just tell us what happened so we can follow up accordingly, okay?
Okay.
Can you tell us what happened?
Well, I know just most recently, Friday, when Jen came up in to pick up, she was naked from the waist down, which she had just taken off her pants, which again, kids that age sometimes do. And then she started running around naked, and so we found her underwear over here and her pants over there, and her mom put them back on her. So she saw her running around naked. Before that, we had been sitting on the couch, and she had been climbing all over me, just as like, well, a game that she climbed up behind me and then went over, just rolled over, like gymnastics kind of a thing, and onto the floor, and then rolled over, and
when was
we did
this?
that again. It was also Friday before that.
Okay.
But we did that for a bunch of times. I was just sort of sitting there going, oh, okay, we stopped. And then suddenly she pulled her pants down and did that. So, come on, put your pants back on. So put the pants back on, and then suddenly, she took them off all together. And so we stopped playing that game.
It is not uncommon to see a suspect create a false story which they believe accounts for the evidence against them. This story is usually far less incriminating than the truth and can sometimes appear bizarre. Suspects do this to appear cooperative and in the hope that the detectives will accept this fabricated version of events.
And I got up and walked around, but I know it was about that time that her mom came.
Okay.
I don't think her mom saw us playing that game, I hope.
Okay.
But that might have been something that she saw.
Is there anything else?
Now, person is really a touchy-feely, cuddly kind of a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And she always wants to climb on me, and she wants me to hold her or pick her up, and carry her around. So I do that, I don't, and so, or she'll, play on me as we're sitting on the couch, on my lap and whatever, or sometimes try to get her to quiet down. I just hold her on my lap and cuddle.
Okay.
Just
Would she be clothed?
And she's clothed, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so, yes, always clothed, but just cuddling. We do cuddle close.
Okay.
And sitting on the couch, I don't know.
Okay. Now, when you guys, when she was climbing all over you, was she clothed, fully clothed?
Most of the times until she pulled her pants down and went over me, and I realized, I saw, she was, they were trying to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And so then pulled back up, and then she did it again, and then she did it again, and when she was running around after that, she pulled her pants all the way down, took them off, and then just started, I said, okay, no. So then she started running around the house that way for a few minutes. I got up the computer, and I went over to help her, watched her, and there she was without pants on.
Where was your wife at during all this? Was she with the other kids?
I think she was doing something in the kitchen, maybe with
Okay.
or something. But anyway, so yeah, that was.
Is there anything else that might have happened? Because something like that, we really wouldn't be investigating. You know, things like that happen. 4-year-olds are going to be 4-year-olds. Is there anything else that happened during that interaction that we need to talk about now? If there is, you need to tell us now that we're not going to, if we find out during the course of our investigation, it's going to be much worse. This is your opportunity to get it all out on the table, let us know what happened, so we can do whatever it is that we need to do to move on, okay? It's your opportunity to be honest and tell us what happened, okay?
Did you climb on top of you with her pants off? Did you touch her in a way that wouldn't have been appropriate for a caretaker to touch?
Yes.
Okay. What happened?
Well, let's see, I smacked her bottom.
Why?
I think and yes, I mean, I kissed her bottom, so.
What do you mean by that?
Huh?
What do you mean by that? You kissed her butt?
Just her butt, yes.
Okay, are you sure?
Like that, and
Sure
then
it
smacked
wasn't? Sure it wasn't something else that you kissed?
And,
Are you sure it wasn't something else you kissed?
and yes.
What did you do?
I did kiss down here.
Okay.
So you kissed?
Yeah, that was just
Was
a
it
quick.
Was it just a kiss, or was it? I'm just trying to get the picture on exactly what happened. Okay, this is your opportunity to tell us what happened. Did you use any tongue or anything like that, sir?
And just so you're aware too, put you out of comfort, you know, we investigate these often. I know it can be embarrassing, it can be tough to talk about, but just know that this isn't one we've heard way worse. There's a lot of things that we've heard that, you know, don't come close to this, okay? So, you know, it might feel embarrassing to open up and talk about it, but just know that unfortunately, there's nothing really that you can tell us that's going to be shocking.
One of the biggest motivators for a predator to keep their behavior hidden is the shame that comes with confessing their desires. The detectives recognize this. Therefore, they attempt to remove this barrier by striving to keep his pride intact. Minimizing his actions compared to other cases they have investigated helps to complete this goal.
So,
Did you use your
It's
tongue?
just embarrassing to say. Yes.
Okay. And how long did this encounter last?
Oh, just seconds.
If you had to guess, 5, 10?
I mean, just felt, you know, the kissing part, just like that, quickly.
Okay. And she didn't have any underwear on, right?
Not, and then I on the kiss on the bottom was just like that. No,
Okay.
not tongue. Just, I mean, just
What did she
giggle
do
play.
when that happened?
Oh, giggle, laugh,
Okay.
and she, and then that was, and then she
Okay.
kept her pants off and started running around. I got up and said, okay, can't be this way.
At any point in time, did you pull out your penis at all?
No.
Okay. What was the purpose of you kissing her vagina?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Has this happened before?
No.
Are you sure?
No, just, yes, no.
Okay.
I mean,
So this was on Friday?
This was on Friday. She just, no.
Okay.
I kiss her. I mean, I kiss all the kids, actually.
That's what we're kind
usually
of...
around the face.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, that's what we're trying to, see exactly what happened, if this has ever happened before, if it's a one-time
Bare
thing,
butt was sticking up there, and yes, we were having giggly fun. So I
Okay.
kissed it, yes.
Okay. That was the only time, I mean, you've already told us, obviously what happened Friday. If there's other instances, let us know so we can deal with them now. Has this ever happened prior to with, or are you,
No, I've never kissed them.
or licked? Have you ever,
Or licked the
have you ever
vagina.
used your hand to touch their vagina underneath their underwear?
But no. Okay, I gotta say, okay. It's a very, we do cuddle sometimes.
Okay. So what happens
And
during that
maybe-
cuddling?
Well, usually my hand is up around in here, but yes.
Okay.
Maybe it's going down here, and she,
Okay.
and so.
Was this on Friday, or would this have been
No, this has
weeks?
been before.
Like how far before?
I don't know.
It's early April,
I
would you
mean,
say March, February?
well, She likes to be cuddled that way. I mean, I get the
And that's fine.
impression
Little
that she
kids,
likes,
yeah, little kids are
she
going
likes
to do
to be
that.
cuddled that way, and
Mhm.
even with my hand down there,
Mhm.
and this cuddle time seems to quiet her.
Mhm.
The detectives appearing to agree with Terry's repulsive reasoning again helps to remove the shame that comes with the confession. There is also a secondary purpose to this technique. Their behavior helps to validate Terry's actions and fool him into thinking his confession won't land him with a hefty prison sentence.
At that time, so
So when you guys are
it's
cuddling,
sort
your
of
hand kind of just
sometimes
winds up. Okay.
down there.
Now, at any point in time, does your fingers enter her vagina?
Enter now.
Are you sure?
Just right here.
Inside or on the exterior of her pants?
On the exterior? No. Well,
Would they be
I
inside her
don't know.
underwear? That's part of what the complaint is, so that's what we need to
Mhm.
address. So is your hand on the inside of her underwear? Sir, if so, just tell us now.
It's uncomfortable, I know.
It is, but it's easier to get out there, and so we can deal with it, okay? I mean, kids are going to want to cuddle, especially when you're around kids all the time. I have a little girl, and she wants to cuddle, and sometimes certain areas are, it's just odd, it's awkward.
Mhm.
So I understand what you're saying. Now, does your hand ever go inside of her underwear when you guys cuddle?
It has, yes.
Okay. So does your
But
finger enter her just a little bit?
Well, maybe just a little bit.
Just a little bit, okay. Now, the situations you were talking about with, has this happened with back when she was younger or recently?
Younger, no.
What about
No,
recently?
unfortunately, this was,
Let's get it all out there.
Yeah.
Man. Just get it all out there, you know?
I know.
And I know it's going to make you feel a hell of a lot
It's rough.
better. I know it's awkward to talk about, but it's going to be a hell of a lot better for you when you just get it all out on the table and just let us know now, pressure off your chest and ease out of your mind, and we can move past it, all right? It's going to be a lot easier to move past. So,
Moving past the part is
yes.
I mean, maybe I've touched because she's cuddling too,
Mm-hmm.
and so.
Was this
if
recently
she's
when
come-
she would want to cuddle?
Well, if she's come to our house and just, on the outside of the.
What about the inside?
I don't, not the inside with her, because
Are
I've
you
never
sure?
had the chance.
What about all?
Been closer, okay?
Doesn't cuddle as much?
No,
So would it be safe to say?
just on the outside.
On the outside, okay.
I'm trying to remember.
Okay.
If I did on the inside, I can't remember.
Okay.
Of the
So,
underwear.
and she likes to cuddle too, right?
They like,
Okay.
yes. They
So
both
at
come
no
over
point in
to
time-
cuddle.
You have ever had your hands inside of underwear?
Maybe.
Again, and like I said, this might help a specific example. Maybe when you guys were on the computer and she was on your lap sitting. Do you remember a time maybe you were playing ABC Mouse or Nick Jr.? Did your hand go inside of her pants while she was sitting on your lap?
Maybe, yes.
When was this?
It's been a while because she hasn't come to our house.
What do you say? When you
I
say
mean-
it's been a while, how long do you say?
I mean, like maybe last summer if she came one day.
Okay.
No, she didn't come every day in the summertime.
Right.
They went to...
So she was sitting on your lap and your hand went inside her underwear and touched her?
Just
briefly?
Just briefly. Yeah.
Now let's go back to like we did. Did your fingers penetrate her?
I don't remember, no.
Well, you would remember something like that, I mean, it's an important situation. I mean, you would remember something like that because you don't seem like a bad guy, these kids want to cuddle and stuff like that. When they're sitting when sitting on your lap and you put your hand down the front of her underwear, does your finger ever penetrate inside her?
I mean, it's
Going back to that diagram. you did,
possible
the outside
I
of the-
followed the crease.
Okay.
It's possible I
It's
followed the
possible.
crease.
Okay, and this was sometime last summer?
When she was here.
Almost a year ago.
Again, because she's in school, she doesn't come every day.
Right. Okay.
So it's just a day that she had off and she would come.
In these instances they were sometime this year?
Yes.
Was it winter?
Unfortunately, my
Other than the
behavior
past Friday?
has just increased, and I mean, I feel guilty about it.
Okay.
I do.
Well, you made a mistake.
I feel guilty
You're
about
owning
it.
up to it, and you're being a man and owning up to it.
But yeah, but when I cuddle, it's just like, you know, sometimes these things, and yeah.
Okay.
And besides that, I mean, I tell myself at least that sort of likes not the inside of it, but the rubbing on the outside. I tell myself that behavior like that.
Other than last Friday that you've already explained, the other time that you were talking about, would that have been the beginning of this year? Would it be safe to say?
Or another time.
Yeah. Yeah.
This calendar year. I do not know when this sort of started. It's just that I do this occasionally with.
How many times?
Not
you have to guess.
not the inside
ever?
the underwear thing, but just the cuddling with my hand on the outside.
Okay.
Okay.
So
I mean, touching her on the inside of the underwear, it doesn't happen a lot. No, but.
So if you had to guess, with specifically, out of the whole time she's been,
Wow.
not on the outside. I'm talking about with your hand on the inside.
I don't know.
Would it be between
2 or 3 times.
2 and 3? Okay.
You don't think it'd be more than that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't put a number to it. I hesitate to.
Okay. So
Consider what it is. I
Okay.
guess my mind is not
Right.
not wanting to.
One of the other complaints is
Which is inappropriate. I totally understand. Yes.
sometime last week was trying to do the splits on the couch, and you were kind of showing her a little bit doing the splits, with like pushing her legs down on the couch. Do you remember that incident?
Doing the splits.
You don't remember that at all?
No.
No. Could that have been maybe last Friday when she was climbing on you and the incident happened that you already talked to us about? Would that be part of it?
No. Splits. I mean, no.
What about if she was just sitting on the couch and maybe you just took her legs and spread them apart?
Okay, what happens a lot, she likes to do, is I will sit on the couch and she wants to sit on my shoulders.
Okay.
Okay? And,
When she sits on your
and
shoulder...
and so I play with her legs and their feet, and yes, I spread them apart like that.
Do you spread her legs apart?
I have.
So, would this have all been last Friday, what we've discussed, and then sometime this year?
Sometime, I mean, it's a...
You said 2 or 3
it's
times.
a behavior.
You told us about it,
She sits on my shoulders and,
Is she facing you or facing the opposite
she's
way?
facing the TV.
Okay.
We're both watching the TV or whatever.
Okay.
She just sits on my shoulders, and so she's sitting here, and I get the feeling that her area is pushing against my head like that.
Does that arouse you?
And I think it arouses. I think she likes it.
Oh, no, I mean you.
But does it arouse me?
It obviously does, or you obviously wouldn't do it. So
but
you have
go ahead. But she sort of like constantly wants to do that. Sits on my shoulder, so I just let her. So I play with her legs as far as they're up there. So you could spread them apart or clap them or whatever, or just they're there. So
when you have your hands down her pants, that obviously arouses you as well? Is that just kind of part of it, the reason why you do it?
I'm sure that's why yes.
Okay.
I would, it's totally inappropriate behavior, so it must be something, yes.
What about the other children inside the home? Have you ever had any issues that we've discussed? That way we know ahead of time if there's ever been any other issues with any of the other children that your wife watches, that you help watch as well?
No.
Never done anything like this?
Never. No, she's not as cuddly, and she never
What
comes
about
over.
the boys? What about...
Not the boys.
No? Okay.
Not the boys. Yes.
So
I pick them up, of course. We're there to do what you do, but no, I don't do anything sexual with anybody else.
Okay.
It's just that this cuddling has unfortunately evolved into something that purposely do that. I know, because I don't want.
Is this an addiction that you feel like you struggle with?
Blaming an addiction helps to limit how much responsibility Terry feels and provides him with an excuse for his actions. This excuse is highly unlikely to affect his punishment. However, it does reduce the likelihood of him asking for legal counsel and increases the chances of him continuing to cooperate fully.
I don't know. Maybe that's a possibility.
That's one of the.
Could you get me more water?
Yeah, absolutely, sir. No problem.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
No, this is very.
Oh, no problem. We have infinite supply. When one of the things that I do is I work with internet crimes against children, so I'm familiar with the addiction that can come with this, and it sounds like that you've made some key terms and phrases when you talked about this that, it's hard for me, I've tried, and so I'm wondering if this is something that you daily deal with.
And maybe that's a good word. Yes, that's a good word. Addiction, because how long has it been going on? I've been retired and working with the kids now for just a couple of years. 2017 I retired. And I really haven't had kind of this kind of a thing, for lack of a better word, until, hi. And I don't know when I started getting that.
Did it ever happen with your daughters when they were young?
Getting that intimate. No, I didn't with my daughters. That's the point. I didn't with other kids in the house.
And one thing.
But something I started doing. And I told myself that she likes it. And actually, because she keeps coming up to me all the time and
obviously some
hugging me and cuddling and climbing all over, and both and not also is very active.
No, I understand. There's
that,
definitely, I'm not, it's typically, one or the other, as my experience has shown me. It's typically, if there's a sexual attraction to girls, there's not usually the boys as well. It's few and far between. But the one thing I'll ask you, and again in the same lines of honesty, have you ever taken any inappropriate photographs of?
No. I haven't.
So like if we looked in your phone or on your computer, there wouldn't be anything?
No.
Okay. This is also kind of helping with that whole, trying to understand the level of addiction you might be suffering from with this, and something that might down the road require what kind of assistance or help that could be to your aid. How do you trust yourself to not do this again, or is it beyond that point?
I think after today, after talking with you two, after admitting to myself and to you, and I'm going to have to go home and tell Carol, I'm afraid.
Especially it is a business that revolves around children.
It is, and that's why my biggest fear is I put that in danger. And so, yes, I will.
How do you think she's going to react? Is she aware of this demon?
She is not. She is not. If she is, she hasn't.
So you've never confided in anybody except
never
for
confided
Zach
in
and
sort
I
of
today?
it's always been outside of her. I when she's not in the room.
Right.
So I've never confided. It's been very private between me.
Okay.
Yes. So they talk to their mother about this, I'm sure. But they and I was, it's been my fear, I guess, but they might. So after today, yes, I can say that I will just have to avoid
Yeah.
um, more than just, I mean, I can't avoid not, or I can't avoid touching the kids at all. I mean, because they're
Right,
there,
yeah.
they're running around, and then
Picking them up
they
if they're
run
getting
up,
into
picking
stuff.
them up and stuff like that is just part of the job, part of that, and again, is she runs over and she likes to be picked up. I've noticed, seen pictures of her with family and friends, and she's always being picked up and held.
Right.
That's she's very, but I'm gonna, yes, I will. Again, after today,
Mm-hmm.
especially this fear is going to be in my head enough that certainly it's going to give me the willpower, I think, to stop
Mm-hmm.
that behavior. Yes. And we'll have to talk to Carol, and
One thing that
my fear is that they won't come back anymore. I don't know.
yeah, and like I said, this is still the preliminary part of the investigation,
They've
and one thing that
friends.
we might not have addressed yet is a lot of times, especially when children are young and something like this happens to them, you know, they don't really comprehend what's happened or what's going on. It's my fear, and hopefully you can help clarify this. Is there going to be any other children that maybe Carol has watched over the last 22 years that this has happened to, where there's potential other girls that you might have had this relationship with?
No, because this behavior has just begun. I think this year. I mean, not well, perhaps this is only April. I mean, it's perhaps from 2018 also, but it's only recent. In other words, all the other kids know. I've never touched them sexually. I mean, I've certainly picked up kids, even
And that we're not worried
older
about that at
kids,
all.
and hugs and stuff.
I think you probably gathered out of our conversation the
But
questions we've asked.
where you're going, and no, I've never done this with anybody else.
Okay, that's good to know. All right.
And yes, so I will be fully open about all this.
Okay, we
And
definitely
I say,
appreciate it. It makes our job that much easier. And I mean, do you feel better than you did before we picked you up? I mean, obviously, I understand the circumstances of the act doesn't go away, but does it feel good to open up and talk about it? Or do you feel the same?
Maybe. I mean, when you came to the porch and you started talking, and you said you wanted to come down here, I thought, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Because
That's usually the reaction we get, though, anyway.
there today, and Jen just called and said they were tired and need to stay home.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going, I'm putting two and two together here. So, my fear is not just for me, but for Carol and the business. If we lose the business of they're nice people, and they're two kids. We're only down to 4 now. Carol's thinking of retiring in a few years. She's 61, and basically not really searching for more kids, but also, God, it's just going to be, a record thing where sexual predator kind of a thing or whatever.
And, we can't foresee the future, but one question I had, is Carol's business licensed daycare?
No. It's not in that sense. Yes, she used to work with Action for Children.
Okay.
Until Action for Children got around to what were they doing? They forgot they no longer fund food, and so she said, well, forget you. So she's independent on her own. It's not licensed.
Okay.
Yeah, she's just an independent.
But they use her, like anyone that uses her services, do write her off as a tax credit. Correct?
I'm sure, yes.
Okay.
In fact, yes.
Because you guys probably get notified when someone uses, I believe, an EIN number. It's basically for tax purposes. Like if I'm paying you $10,000 a year, I get 20% tax break or something like that.
And I know she fills out a form for a couple of the people
Yeah, okay.
And for their sometimes their jobs give them
Stipend,
credit,
right.
yeah, for daycare. Yes.
Okay.
I don't know, but I know that family does.
Okay. All right.
The techniques that the detectives have used seem to have had great effect on Terry's mindset. He is yet to grasp the magnitude of the crimes he has just confessed to and their future ramifications. This can be seen when Terry describes his worries. He fears for the business and his own personal record. The fact he is facing decades in prison doesn't even enter his mind.
I fear, well, I have two fears. First of all, the business that back hurt because there's two kids there.
Yeah.
And secondly, I hope I don't have any I mean, one of those what do you call it? The things on a record or child.
You ever been arrested or anything like that before? Never. Okay.
So again, I don't want to hurt the business. That's my fear.
Right. Okay.
And yes, or the other fear of on my record or me having a record.
Have you ever been in trouble for anything else before?
No.
I mean, yeah.
Traffic tickets. That's it.
Right. Okay.
I mean, nothing. I've always been a good kid.
So this
church and all
this
that
type
kind
of behavior never happened when your girls were younger?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm actually just curious, what does, I'm curiosity because of, I have a son myself and child care is so expensive. What do you guys charge per kid? Like if I were to have full-time care, which would be what, $7.30 to $5.30? Is that about
$7.30, $5.30. So, gosh, because Carol handles all that. $35 per kid, I think, per day. But if you do like a whole week and it's somebody steady like we have here, it's a little bit less than that. And I have to ask her the details again. Carol handles all the details. I do remember the $35 per kid. So if I'm just for some, brought it, somebody in one day, like come on a school day off, or a couple of the other kids that we've recently babysat for go to school and have come to us on a day off. It's like $35. But again, with a whole week isn't 35 times 5. It's a little bit cheaper than that.
Okay, so you get a discount for doing 5 steady days.
Discount for 5 steady days, and then certainly maybe, I don't know if she does a monthly discount or not, but anyway, so it's that. And we don't charge anything else. I pick up after preschool 2 days a week. We feed lunches and snacks.
And that's all included?
And that's all
30,
included.
Okay.
So
do you guys do date nights too?
And no, not evenings, not date nights, no. Yes, the evenings are...
Those are the tough ones to find.
Yeah.
When mom and dad need a Saturday night out, who can watch them till, 11 or midnight.
Yeah, no, we haven't volunteered to do that, and so it's just during the day. And so, 7:30 to 5:30 are the hours.
Okay. Makes sense.
Monday through Friday.
How have you, does this take up most of your retirement time since you left 2 years ago?
Oh!
Any other hobbies? Play golf or still into music?
Don't play golf. Sing in the church choir for music-wise. Work around the house. Trying to get, do things around the house to get them all rooms painted or or things fixed up around the house, this, that, and the other.
There's always something to do.
Just always that kind of a chore that I try to do. And again, I can't do much around the house during the week because the kids are all there, you know.
Right.
Couldn't paint a room, so I have to do these on Saturday and Sunday. Occasionally, while the kids are there, especially in the afternoon when they're napping, I'll run down to the workbench and be able to do some things, you know, down there, and
Yeah.
just small chores.
Does Carol rely on you pretty heavily then?
And
Like if you went and did something every day, would she still be okay, or is she like having you?
I think she'd be okay, really. Again, I worked up until a couple of years ago, and she's been doing babysitting for 20 plus years. So she was always on her own.
Right.
Up until, so, but, I mean, I'm just my help is, I'm sure, relieves her. Again, a major thing is lunch, and then, I guess she takes kids upstairs one at a time for naps.
Right.
And so the other kids are downstairs, and I just sort of make sure that they're all behaving themselves or whatever. The little one he's one, and he's everywhere. He walks around, gets into stuff, and climbs and whatever. Just have to make sure that he's not getting into something he's not supposed to be.
Yeah, my son turns 1 Wednesday, so I'm
very
very aware.
Walking?
Yeah, not really. He'll pull himself up and he'll shimmy himself around, but he's not walking yet.
Oh well, enjoy
but he's
it.
so close. He's so close. It's almost like I almost want him just to walk because at least then I don't have to worry about him climbing on things to try to walk. If that makes sense.
Well, yeah, but boy, when they start walking, then they really find things to get into.
Right. Yeah.
So absolutely. Is this your first?
It is. Yep.
So of course, make sure you're
just
baby-proofed everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. We've
Covered.
already all the corners of every coffee table and end table have the rubber pads on the outside. We haven't done the cabinets yet.
Outlets plugged in.
Yes.
The cabinets. Oh, yeah, the cabinet locks are important because they like to open them up. So
Right.
some things you don't want them in, like under the sink, perhaps.
Yeah, all your cleaning supplies and things like that.
Now the ones, other ones, he gets into the pots and pans, and we go, sure, fine.
We can always put those back.
Always put those back.
We can't
He loves to make the noise.
induce vomiting when you drink glass cleaner. So, right there.
That's all the questions that I have. Do you have any more questions?
No, we're good.
You're free to go. If you want to walk home, you can, or if you'd like, we can take you back home. That's totally up to you.
I'll take the ride.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's no problem. Yeah, absolutely. Just understand you're free to go at any point. We're just getting you right back to the house.
Okay,
Okay?
just related to him. I'll talk to Carol.
Okay.
But it'll be after 5:30, after when the 2 babysitter kids go home.
Okay.
So if there's any other, like, you want to talk to her or something like that, we'll be home tonight.
Okay. All right.
After 5:30, and you will, of course. I'm sorry I didn't have my cell phone. I
Oh, it's
gave
okay.
it to you to
That's no problem. We got the house number.
As I told him, I don't take pictures on my phone anyway. But,
Okay. All right.
okay. Yes, my fear is for the business, Carol. So, okay, you'll of course keep in contact.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Again, I feel bad.
Yeah.
I feel really bad.
Well, do you feel any better than you did when we first came in here? At least you got it off your chest?
Well, I mean, yeah, I got it off my chest. At least I sort of was halfway afraid that that's what was going to happen.
Yeah, I could tell. We do stuff like this all the time. I could tell that you wanted to get some stuff off your chest, and you did, and you owned up to it. To be quite honest with you, I give you kudos for that because most of the time people don't own up to it.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid it, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
You did well pulling it out of me.
I mean, you were free to go at any point. You wanted to stay here and obviously own up to the mistakes you made. And
I couldn't avoid it.
Yeah.
I couldn't avoid it, because I knew that it was there. And if I didn't talk to you, I'd have to talk eventually. So.
Well, all you can do is move forward, right? Just be honest with your wife about everything, which I'm sure you will. Be an uncomfortable conversation, but it's something that you're going to have, okay?
Although Terry is still coming to terms with his current situation, the consequences of his actions will hit him very hard and very soon. On the 3rd of March 2020, Terry would plead guilty to 2 counts of child abuse, and would later be brought before a judge to receive his sentence. Fortunately, Judge Julie Lynch showed little mercy.
Mr. McFadden, convicted of or pleaded guilty to a sexually oriented child victim offense. As such, you will be a Tier 3 registrant for your lifetime with in-person verification every 90 days. Failure to register, failure to verify residence at the specified times, or failure to provide notice of a change in resident address or other required information as described above will result in criminal prosecution. This court is so sick and tired of seeing adults ruin and abuse children. These are literally just one step from being babies. They come to a daycare, those parents struggle so that when they release their children to someone during the day, they have some semblance that that child is going to be protected and safe. Not let alone 2 of their children being raped by your own admission, sir. For sexual gratification, you violated a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. I do not know at this time what the total ramifications will be for those 2 young children, but there isn't anybody who doesn't understand now the developmental phases of children take place from 0 to 6 years old. You can't even know what damages you've done for sexual gratification. This to me is so mind-boggling that you used and abused 2 little children like they're inconsequential beings. Those are human persons with human dignity. The mere fact that they're small little people that can't fight off adults, that's why an adult left them with adults. I'm going to tell you something, Mr. McFadden. There's no free rapes in my courtroom. On count 1, I'm sending you to prison for 11 years. On count 4, I'm sending you to prison for 11 years. They will be consecutive to each other for a total of 22 years. You have 32 days jail credit. At this time, the court finds it necessary to protect the public from future crimes, to punish the offender, and to find that consecutive sentences are not disproportionate to the seriousness of the offender's conduct and to the danger the offender poses to the public. Folks, if you see it, you smell it, you know it's happening, you report it. These are little children that are the future. I hate to sound so cliche, but the children are our future, and if we're destroying them, we have no future. And this ends in this courtroom. That'll be all. Fines and costs are waived.
As a result of this sentence, Terry is highly likely to die in prison, and due to the nature of his crimes, his final years will be extremely miserable. Terry will face physical violence, contaminated food, and psychological torment almost daily.